So now we are towards the end of this canto, two, three small sections remaining now. Narad has given a detailed answer to the questions which were raised by Savitri's mother. She was puzzled that how can in the world of God there can be, how in the world of God there can be grief, suffering, misery, death, sorrow, falsehood. If God is all good, then how can evil enter into this creation? In other words, the question was basically enlarged from her personal context. Savitri is such a perfect girl in every respect, physical form, her mental capacities, her soul, her heart. They are so beautiful, so perfect. Then how can she meet something which is not perfect, which is full of blemish, which is going to cause trouble to her in life? How can perfection get affected at all? Is perfection something which can get attacked? This is what it amounts to, you see. So that is basically the important question. If everything is truth, can truth be affected by falsehood? If there is immortal life, can immortal life be assailed by death? That is the basic question she is raising here. And in the immediate context, as we had seen earlier, it is the riddle of this world which she was trying to get cleared from Narad, you see. Although it was a deep personal anguish of the mother for her daughter, which is perfectly understandable on the human level, on the human plane, but she is in fact voicing the entire perception, entire feeling, entire sentiment of this world. She is giving the voice to our suffering, our sorrow, all those things. And therefore, it becomes not just an individual suffering, it is a universal suffering which she is trying to understand. And it is for that Narad is giving a very detailed response. In fact, he had already detected in the moment of time what is meant, what is stored for Savitri in her life, what is stored in her life, that he has already detected in a moment of time. That is important because it is in the process of time that all these things are happening. And perhaps now the time has come to the proper opportune moment. It has matured up for things to move forward in a very decisive manner. Until now things were happening, all right, but now this has to end and a new beginning has to be made. So in that sense, Narad has already detected in a moment of time the leap of time which is going to take place shortly. And it is in that context now he is surveying the entire past, the entire suffering, the condition of the earthly creature, and In response to that, he is giving the answer. As I told you, his answer is basically divided in terms of five themes. Five themes. The first theme which he develops is that it is the hammer of God which is used to build, create, sculpt the soul of man. Hammer of God is necessary in the present condition of existence. It is that which will really sculpt him to his beautiful form, hammer of God. Now this hammer of God is not only that we creatures bear. Of course, we are getting sculpted by the hammer of God, but even the divine who comes here and takes the mortal birth, he also has to accept the suffering of this world, the pain of this world. Unless he accepts the suffering of this world, how can he experience it? How can he redeem it? How can he remove it? And therefore, he comes as an avatar, accepts the mortal lot. And the example which is elaborated is the example of Christ. His crucifixion is the most poignant illustration of the divine himself coming here and suffering for the soul of man. For the soul of man. It is his love which has accepted this lot. He suffers. He sacrifices his body on the cross. And by doing that, he pays the debt God owes to this creation. Yes, God has created this world. In this world of God, something has happened, and therefore he paid the price for that by suffering, by even sacrificing his body, his life, you see. Now, this sacrifice is necessary. Without the sacrifice, things cannot move forward. In the occult content, unless the sacrifice is made, unless the price is paid, you cannot take one step forward. And therefore, God has to come down and suffer for that. There is no question of his grumbling. In other words, he knows that it has to be that way. There cannot be any other way at all. He comes, accepts all this suffering, you see. So, first he comes as the avatar, he identifies himself with the mortal creature and pays with his body price which is demanded by this creation. Then the next point which Narad is making is that this world redeemer who comes here to redeem the world has to accept all the sufferings. Unless he identifies himself with this creature here, he comes as a world redeemer, and this world redeemer is something more than just a prophet, than just a sage. He accepts in the occult way again the difficulties of this world. And then he makes his contribution to redeem the lot of this world. Redeem does not necessarily mean transforming. He is not going to transform the world, but he is going to see that the price which is required for that is paid. In other words, the world Redeemer comes here to prepare the necessary ground for transformation. Then the next point which Narad is making is that he tells Savitri's mother, her name, by the way, in the Mahabharata story is Malavi. He tells Malavi that she should not take any hasty step. She should not make any hasty move. She should not try to claim heaven by force. It may prove disaster. Don't take the Titan's path. That is what he says, you see. Don't take the Titan's path. The Titan's path is very dangerous, and he comes and wears the centaur's blood-glued shirt. So when you wear the shirt, then you burn and you die. So it is that path which he is avoiding, which he is advising not to be taken. You should not take the Titan's path. Centaur, the Hercules himself was a Titan, and when he killed the Centaur, his shirt, in the course of events, happened to come to Hercules, and when he was wearing it, and the whole of his body was burning, as if it was poison, and that is how Hercules died. And of course, because of the 12 labors he had put here, he was received in heaven properly. But he says that, Narada says that, don't take that path. In other words, not by forcing in an asuric way the path, that you can really bring the divine love in this creation. That is the whole thrust of it. You have to take the gradual path, the path of evolution, and slowly progress on that path. And that is what we call the sunlit path. When sunlit path, that is what he is basically asking. The psychic path, the path of evolution. And then she says, why this creation? That was the basic question she was asking. Why this suffering and all that thing? Narada is very blunt. He says, look, it is a choice which was made by you. Don't blame God for that. Don't blame anybody for that. This is the world of inconscience. This is the world of death, of ignorance, of falsehood. And it would have remained as it is. But then you became curious about this world, and you came down here, and now you are blaming it is the world created by your God, my God, you see. God is asking, you see. Because you are, oh mortal, he was asking, you see. In the previous section, what we are saying, he says that this is your choice you have made. Now, this choice is important because unless that choice is made by the soul, the inconscience cannot be redeemed, cannot be changed, cannot be transformed. Inconscience will remain inconscience. Darkness will remain darkness. Falsehood will remain falsehood. Unless the divine spark enters into it, how can it change? So, it was your spontaneous response to it. In that response to it, you have come here, you have accepted here. In a given frame of small time, you are complaining, which is perfectly understandable. But in the larger frame, you have made a very good choice. Blind, tremendous choice is what you had made. But that is a very good choice because it is by that process inconscience can be gradually lifted up to consciousness. That consciousness can really enter into it. Otherwise, inconscience would remain inconscious all the while. Falsehood would remain all the while. So, in other words, your choice is functionally significant, is important. And it is by that process things can change. In other words, you are on the path of evolution, path of growth, path of transformation, and you should be very happy, you should be rather lucky about it. It's true that the world here is full of suffering, difficulties and all that. In fact, in the previous section, he says, a huge descent began, a giant to fall when you started coming down here. For what the Spirit sees creates a truth. There is no truth here in inconscience. There is no light here in conscience. But when the Spirit sees from there that there can be truth, there can be light, it comes, and if it sees that, it will create that truth. It will give rise to that truth. It creates a truth, and what the soul imagines is made a world. Yes, the soul up there thinks that here also there can be a beautiful world, a lovely world, a sweet world, a happy world. The soul imagines that, it thinks that way is possible, and therefore when it imagines that way and comes here, that imagination has the power to get realized even in this inconscient condition. And therefore the soul has come down here. And what the soul imagines is made a world of happiness, of joy, of love, of beauty, of sweetness. All those things are possible here because of that, you see. A thought that lives from the timeless can become the indicator of cosmic consequence and the itinerary of the gods, a cyclic movement in eternal time. So that is how that things can really progress here. And then Narad concludes in a very great manner all that is going to happen. Thus came, born from a blind, tremendous choice. You had taken a plunge into darkness without realizing what is held by the darkness. You had no idea of that. It cannot have of idea because there are nothing here. So, what kind of things will emerge, will spring up from this inconscient world, or that nobody can imagine. You are there, let me go and enter into the darkness. But what kind of answers the darkness will throw, of that nobody can have an answer. Nobody can imagine about that thing. So it becomes a blind, tremendous choice. Yes, if it is there, still let me go there. That is why it is tremendous choice. Tremendous choice. This great, perplexed and discontented world. Now, this is the entire summary of what we are. Our world is basically this world of perplexed. It's a perplexed world, discontented world, unhappy world, suffering world. This is what we have here along. This great, perplexed and discontented world. And you have chosen that. So, don't blame. This haunt of ignorance, this home of pain, this is what we were saying last time, this home of pain. There are pitched desires at tents, grief's headquarters. So, in one sentence, in 4 lines, he has described the state of affairs which is prevailing here in this creation here. That it is a perplexed world, it is a discontented world, it is a haunt of ignorance, it is a home of pain, it is a tent of desire. Our world is a tent of desire. You live in a tent of desire. The desire itself has been a tent, and you are living there in that world, you see. And here are the headquarters of grief. So the army of grief is there, all the soldiers are there all around, but here is the headquarters now, where everything will be. So he has given now basically a complete picture. Haunt is one word, home is another word, tent is another word, headquarters is another word, you see. He is describing very systematically all these things. Basically what it means that ours is a perplexed, discontented world. It is a haunt of ignorance. It is a home of pain. And mind well, see, Narad is talking here of ignorance, I capital. He is talking of pain, P capital. The original pain itself is talking of pain. It is a haunt of ignorance. It is a home of pain. It is a den of falsehood. It is a house of death. It is a pitched tent of desire. Here are the headquarters of grief. This is the result of a blind choice. Why does all that? Because this is the result of a blind choice. And therefore, there you are. The only way for you is to evolve and go slowly with a purpose. Why? So all these things are there. Because why? Because a vast disguise, the eternal bliss, has put on a robe, a disguise. He is hiding himself behind all these things. So this ignorance, this pain, this desire, this grief, they are basically forms of disguise of bliss. It is bliss which is put on those dresses, so to say, you see. A vast disguise, a vast. In other words, there is a purpose, there is a meaning, there is a content in it. Something has to happen, and therefore it is vast. In every respect, it will grow and it will expand. Now, it is with this Narad is concluding his answer to the queen. I don't know to what extent the queen has grasped it, but she is silent. She has understood. She is not going to retort. She is not going to question. She is satisfied with the answer given by Narad. Otherwise, should I ask questions? See, like that. Should I ask questions? Should I continue dialogue? This, that thing. She is fully satisfied with the explanation. In other words, although for a moment she had lost her high equipoise, she is a lady of great attainment. For a moment she got disturbed, became emotional, she had lost her bearings, so to say, and therefore she was asking all those kind of questions, one after the other like that. But suddenly now, with this long answer of Narad, she has become quiet. She has understood the whole thing. She is subscribing to the views of Narad, basically. Yes, what you are saying, I understand. Her soul is ready to absorb what Narad is telling to her. And therefore she has no more questions at all. She is fully satisfied with that, you see. Now, in other words, this also shows, really speaking, the high quality of her soul, Savitri's mother's soul, that she could understand all these things. Now, it is not just the question of getting mentally satisfied. As far as the questions were asked, all of them have been mentally answered. Narad has not left anything unanswered from the point of view of logic, from the point of reasoning, from the point of view of mental curiosity. He has answered all the things. But it is not just that. It is not that which will make man happy, contented. See, even if you are mentally convinced about certain thing, still normally there is something in us which says, no, it cannot be like this, you ask this thing, you ask that kind of a thing. She is not asking anything. Which means, really speaking, that while Narad is narrating all these things, there is also a constant spiritual force which is flowing from him towards her. A constant spiritual force. He is not simply answering mind to mind. He is also passing on a spiritual force which this lady is receptive to get, to realize. It is that spiritual force which has now entered in her, and therefore she is fully satisfied. So therefore, in fact, in the beginning we had that thing, when the queen was asking all those questions, we have seen that thing earlier. Let's see that once more. 106.1. 106? Yeah. See, she had asked all those questions, and then what happens? The poet is describing this scene. Then, after a silence, Narad made a reply. She is allowed to speak out whatever she wanted to speak. Narad is still keeping quiet, keeping quiet, keeping quiet. He does not immediately answer her. He does not immediately answer. After the silence, then after the silence, Narad made reply. She was asking all those questions almost for half an hour or so. Narad is still keeping quiet. Not that it is not an answer to them, to what she was asking, but he is keeping quiet in order for Savitri's mother to get psychologically settled down. Not in that emotional state she can receive anything. She must quieten down first to receive what he is going to tell. So then after the silence, Narad made reply. And then he says, tuning his lips to earthly sound, he spoke. The language which the earthly ear can hear, not the heavenly. At the human level, he has to communicate. Tuning his lips to earthly sound, he spoke. And something now of the deep sense of fate waited the fragile hints of mortal speech. So when he is now going to speak all that thing, he is going to speak something of the deep sense of fate. What that fate is, why that death is, what is the purpose of that death, it is that which he is going to communicate through his speech. That deep sense of fate, that is the important thing. His forehead shone with vision, solemnized. So he is now shining like a brilliant rishi and radiating like that. Turned to a tablet of supernal thought, as if characters of an unwritten tongue had left in its breath the inscriptions of the gods. So he is reading on the tablet what the gods are written on that and speaking out. In other words, he is not speaking something from his mind, from his thought. He is able to get the intuition of things and speak out from that directly. It is not the mental argument he is forwarding, you see. Where in that light, in that vision of Narad, where in that light, time, toil, why time is toiling, what is the struggle time is undergoing, why the struggle, etc. His unseen was detected. His unseen was time's unseen work. Time is flowing, time is moving, time is doing some work that is not visible. But Narad now is in a position to see the unseen work of time, because he is reading the inscriptions of the gods, and therefore he is able to get the sense of time. Unseen work detected, he is detecting there. Means why this fate, why this trouble, why this death of Satyavan? He has detected the purpose of that thing already. It is with a purpose. He has seen that thing. The broad flung passing schemes, unfinished, which his aeon flight unrolled. Unfinished work of time, which has been going on since the beginning, since the creation. It is that now which is going to get finished. That he has already seen now, were mapped already in that worldwide look. He has already seen the entire panorama of the future, of time, and it is in that state he is speaking here. Now, therefore, when he is talking like that, like a rishi, he is talking like a rishi now, seeing the inscriptions of God, detecting the works of time. It is that sense of spiritual power which he is communicating through his speech. And it is not just soothing, it is not just satisfying, it is not just giving the peace, but also the purpose, the strength, the necessary stamina to bear all the difficulties. Narad is imparting something of a spiritual force to this lady in that sense, you see. And therefore, she need not now speak anything more. The purpose is served. So what we have now here is, as far as the queen is concerned, she is out of the picture, but to a highly evolved yogi soul, there could be something, asking something deeper than what the human soul would. And here therefore now begins a new section. Ashwapati is coming here now for the first time in the canto. After that long discussion, maybe they were talking for about 2.5 hours. Narad for 2 hours and the Queen for half an hour, and everybody was listening. But now it is Ashwapati who comes into picture, and in a certain sense, he is prolonging this theme. He is seeking an elaboration about this particular statement here. Yes, this is a perplexed world. This is a discontented world. This is a haunt of ignorance. This is a home of pain. This is the tent of desire. Here are the headquarters of grief. Yes, this is what here is. So naturally, to a spiritual person, rather on behalf of the spiritual person, the question which would arise is something important. Does it mean that because this world is all pain, ignorance, etc., grief, does it mean that I give up this world and go elsewhere? Where there is no pain, where there is no ignorance. Forget about this world and live up there. This world is after all a discontented world. So why live here? Get out from here and live elsewhere, where there is no discontentment. So that is a kind of a spiritual proposition which can come forward in this diagram. There are pitched desires and forget about this thing. Why? Go and live happily up there, you see. So in other words, the easy path which was found by the past spiritual seekers, that this world is like this. Why bother about this world? Get out from here and live elsewhere. And therefore, Ashwapati is going to answer something, is going to ask something in that context. If this word has no meaning, has no content in it, does it mean then that this world is ruled by the outward world? The spirit is ruled by the outward world. The spirit is free. The spirit is all powerful. Spirit is not bound by all these things. And if the world is like that, does it mean that the spirit is ruled by the outward world? That is the straight question is asking. Soul has come here. It is living here in this creation. It has accepted the grief, the suffering and all the things. Does it mean that his soul is helpless and is ruled by these conditions? A very powerful question is asking, you see. In other words, this is directing the entire dialogue towards something to tell that even in this world there can be the existence of truth. Truth can still exist here. It is not that the spirit is ruled by the outward world. It may seem to you, but the spirit can emerge and express itself even in the outward world. That is what it implies here, you see. In other words, don't dismiss this world as an illusion, as a maya, as a mithya, and walk away from here. It is possible that the spirit can overrule all those conditions and be above this outward world. It means the outward world need not necessarily govern the spirit. Is then the spirit ruled by an outward world? That is the basic question he is asking. Is then the spirit ruled by an outward world? O seer, is there no remedy within? Yes, the outward world is like that. He has described everything. But is there any remedy from within? In other words, he is still asking, insisting on the answer that even the outward world can be remedied from something from within. From within something can come out and change the outward world. Now, this is a general question he is asking, but now he is making specific in the context of the entire dialogue, entire discussion which was going on. Yeah.
What is the outward world?
Pardon?
Who is the outward world here?
Outward world, what we have described, here described. This is the outward world.
Yeah.
Haunt of ignorance, home of pain, that is the outward world.
Is it outward?
Yeah, it's not spiritual. It is not spiritual in that sense. Now as a human being, we are living in that. We are living in the grief tent, in the grief headquarters. That is the outward world.
You mean outward of the pure spirit?
Yes. Yeah. You see, you can say disguise conceals the eternal bliss. That disguise the outward world, which is the soul. So he is asking that there has to be some kind of a remedy from within. Yes, this world is like that, I understand all that. But that world going to remain as it is. That would be a pitiful thing, if it is going to be so. If the spirit is going to be ruled by falsehood, ignorance, death and all that thing, means spirit is helpless. In the sense, you see. O seer, is there no remedy within? Now, he is addressing him as a seer. Because he sees things. He does not argue. He sees things. He sees the entire movement of things. Narada. That is what is Rishi. Rishi would mean that seer. Is there no remedy? Then now he is coming to the specifics. In the context, he says first, spirit ruled by an outward world. Then he says, spirit's will. Is the spirit's will governed, subject to outward circumstances? He is making it now more specific, more directed towards the problem his daughter is facing. He is coming to the point. Savitri had chosen this young man for her husband, and he is going to die. That is the fate, and that fate cannot be changed. Then he is asking, is that fate something which is not the spirit's will? Yes, I know. He is going to die. It is fated, it is decreed. But is that something not decided by the spirit's will? Is it not because of the will of the spirit that his death is going to take place? If the spirit is more powerful than the outward world, all the circumstances, then it must be the spirit who has willed this fate. After a long time fulfilled by the cosmic force. The spirit's will, which has been worked out by the cosmic force, the spirit's will, which has been worked out by the cosmic force, is fate. Yeah.
So, in this sentence, the spirit is a pure spirit, and he has a will of pure spirit. This sentence.
Yeah.
What is fate if not the spirit will?
Yeah.
We are speaking, he is speaking about the pure spirit, the inner, not the outside.
No, that's right.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this spirit will. But a few sentences before,
Yeah.
he said, Narad, that the spirit, what is it? He was blinded. He had a choice blinded.
Yeah. Blind, tremendous choice.
And 12, yes. Thus came born from a blind choice.
This is what I am reading here.
And this is the choice. It was made by the spirit also, by the soul. How he can be blind if it's a pure?
No, blind. No, the spirit saw, the soul or the spirit, what you want to call it, saw the shadow of truth. But what that shadow contains, of that it has no knowledge. What the shadow holds in it, of that it has no knowledge, no understanding, no.
Are we speaking about the same?
Yeah. It has no knowledge. It has plunged blindly.
If it's a pure spirit, for me, he cannot see. He can see only the truth. He cannot be betrayed by a shadow.
No, he is not betrayed at all. He sees truth's shadow. But what that shadow contains, that it cannot see. In other words, behind that shadow, there are all hidden possibilities. Those possibilities have to emerge by entering into them. Those possibilities have to emerge. In fact, that is the whole purpose. That is the way by which inconscience can be changed. Inconscience is holding in its womb every possibility. How will that possibility come? What that possibility is, that you can't see from above. But you know that, yes, there is the shadow of truth, so the truth must be there present even in that. What it is, I may not know. Still let me go. No, not yet. This is in fact very crucial. Basically, this sentence, what the spirits will, see, now spirits will, after a long time, fulfilled by cosmic force. Spirits will, basically, let us break the sentence first. Spirits will fulfilled by cosmic force. Long time will keep separately. Spirits will fulfilled by cosmic force is what is fate. In other words, Ashwapati is giving the definition of fate. What is fate after all? The definition of fate is spirit's will fulfilled by cosmic force. The spirit has seen something, but now in the cosmic operation, what it has seen, what it has built, it has to materialize, has to get realized. And that is getting realized in the course of long time. And that is fate. It will encounter all kinds of difficulties, all kinds of obstacles, because everything will spring up from below to oppose it. So basically, you can say the definition of fate is this: spirit's will fulfilled by cosmic force. So it is not fate which is governing the spirit. It is not the fate which is governing the spirit. That is what it makes basically here. It means, I have made a choice. There is something, some difficulties are there. Okay, so what? I will go and solve them. I will solve them in the course of long time, in the process of evolution. I will handle them. I will tackle them. They will be, and that is fate. In fact, that is very pertinent to what is going to happen. Satyavan and Savitri, they have been going through the whole process, age after age. Through long time, this is happening. Now, the cosmic force has matured up to a stage that it can execute the spirit's will. The cosmic force has become strong enough, mature enough to execute the spirit's will. That is the juncture now of their present avatarhood, of Satyavan and Savitri coming together here. It means that the cosmic force has built up itself the sufficient foundation to carry out the will of the spirit. That's what it is. So, but what is fate? Well, universe therefore is accepting it. It's okay. After a long time fulfilled by cosmic force. Now therefore, rhetorically, in fact, he is not really seeking answer. He is answering himself, Ashwapati, basically. I deemed a mighty power had come with her. Is not that power the high compeer of fate? Ashwapati had approached the Divine Mother that she should incarnate herself here and tackle the problem of mortality. You must come down here yourself, take the mortal birth. Then only the problem of this mortal creation can be solved, not the way. And she said, yes, I will come. I will come. And she says also, no, let's read that part again. It's very beautiful, very strong, you see. Because there's a reference directly to that. Yeah, 91.8. She shall bear wisdom. The Divine Mother is granting a boon. Yes, she will come. The divine power will come. She shall bear wisdom in her voiceless bosom. Strength shall be with her like a conqueror's sword. She will come with the sword of the conqueror, the victorious sword. The sword means she will come with a shining sword in her hand. She herself will be the soul of the divine. She will be in the hands of divine. Strength shall be with her like a conqueror's sword, and from her eyes the eternal bliss shall gaze. A seed shall be sown in death, tremendous hour. Again, this is tremendous hour. A branch of heaven transplant to human soil. Nature shall overleap her mortal step. Fate shall be changed by an unchanging will. This is the promise you had given to me. He is asking. He is telling Narad, well, this is the promise I had received from the Divine Mother herself, that fate shall be changed by an unchanging will. And now you are saying that she is doomed to die, fate. So, I deemed a mighty power had come with her. That was his daughter, you see. Is not that power the high compeer of fate? Yes, fate is there, but then there is also the strength with the conqueror's sword in her hand. I expect that she will win the victory. Is she not going to do that? In other words, although Ashwapati knows that this will be so, still he is demanding an answer from Narad. He is demanding an answer from Narad. I deemed a mighty power. The divine Shakti herself had come with her. I thought so, but now you are telling me that this is going to happen. She is not that power, the high compeer, the companion, the friend of fate, equal to fight out fate. Her power is that not strong enough to fight out fate, is what he is asking. But what is, see now this is in the context of what is fate if now the Spirit's will? The Spirit's will is that power and it has to conquer fate. So this is really very pertinent in the context of the boon which Ashwapati has received. Fate shall be changed by an unchanging will. So he thought that this is going to happen like that. But then he has also defined what is fate. That fate is Spirit's will working out through time as a cosmic force. And she will conquer. So when he is demanding an answer from Narad, he knows that the answer is yes. He knows the answer. He is not really demanding that yes from Narad. He knows that yes. But when Narad is going to say yes, it has a different meaning. Knowing the answer yes by me is one thing, and you saying it yes is another thing. Because when you say yes, it means that you are really going to put seal on that. You are going to put your force on that. You are going to stamp on that. The occult working will start operating because of that yes. When the mother met Shivandu for the first time and she saw the supramental world there, she asked Shivandu, will this not come down? On 29th March 1914, will this not come down? Shivandu simply said, yes. And suddenly the mother started seeing the world coming down. The world coming down. When the mother is asking, will this not come down? She knows the answer that it has to come down. She knows the answer, it has to come down. Otherwise, she should not ask that question. But she is still asking, a verbal seal, stamp has to be there from the yogi himself. Yes, it will come down. That yes has the power of the whole thing getting precipitated here. So it is in that sense, in the occult sense, in the spiritual sense, that Narad is demanding an answer yes, Ashwapati is demanding an answer yes from Narad. When Narad says yes, it means that it will happen. He has put his entire spiritual force in it to make things move in the cosmic dimensions. In the cosmic dimensions. I deemed a mighty power had come with her. Is not that power the high compeer of weight? Yes, it is so, is what it basically means. Now, but Narad answered, covering truth with truth. This is the most famous sentence. Padmi? Yeah.
Covering truth.
Yeah. Yeah. So they are playing with words, you see. Yeah, super. Covering truth with truth. See. Now, this is Shivandu. See, this is Shivandu, the great artist. He is, you see. Now, this truth with truth. Covering, he is not saying directly yes or no. What Ashwapati has asked is a truth. What Narad is going to say is also a truth, but not directly in a sense. When he is going to reply, it means that he is going to put his stamp, his seal, that yes, that power, you see, on that basically it means. Now, but the phrase truth with truth is a Vedic phrase. In the Rig Veda, there is a shloka. If you are interested, you can note down 562.1, 5.62.1, the shloka number, mandala of 5 of Rig Veda, Sukta 62, and the first shloka in the Rig Veda, 562.1. And the shloka runs, Rutena rutam pihitam dhruvam Vam suryasya yatra vimuchantyashvan Dashashata sa tasthustadekam devanam sreshtam va pusham pashyam. Basically what he says is, Rutena rutam apihitam. Rutam means truth, dynamic truth, is enveloped, guarded by truth. Rutena rutam pihitam. truth, covered by truth. And he says, when you remove that thing, then the face of truth gets disclosed to you. When that veil of truth is removed, then you really see the truth. You see behind that. You see. This is what it means, basically. You see the truth, then you see. The face of truth is covered with truth. Remove that cover and you see the truth. Truth with truth. He is covering the truth because he is talking in the mortal world. You see. Retainasam, covering truth with truth. And then, in fact, let me explain to you something more about this one. This is a very beautiful phrase, most significant phrase. You see, covering truth with truth. The speech of Narad here is what is called in the legal language Solomonic opinion, the opinion of King Solomon. King Solomon, King Solomon, Israel, it is the way in which he speaks. That is called the Solomonic. His judgment is what is given here. Now, in one of the judgments by an American judge in a particular case, he says, to shroud the truth invites an unjust verdict. To shroud the truth, you are covering the truth, you are inviting unjust verdict. Unjust verdict. Verdict. Verdict means the judgment, the court judgment. The court judgment. So if you are covering the truth, you are inviting unjust judgment, unjust verdict, you see. You are hiding the truth. It is now that is what is called the Solomonic opinion. You are covering it, looks as if it is unjust, but it is not. Behind that, you see, unjust. And the story which goes behind the judgment of Solomon, perhaps you know the story, two women who had given birth to sons each. In the accident of life, one of the babies got smothered and died. Now, this lady became very unhappy about it and she started claiming the baby of the other woman. She said, no, this is my daughter, my son. You cannot take it like that, you see. So these two ladies now started arguing with each other. This is my son. And naturally, under these circumstances, there is no way of deciding who is really the mother of this little baby, you see. Then they went to King Solomon. He saw the dilemma. He saw the whole difficulty also. How to settle the issue? To whom this baby should be given? To this mother or to this mother, you see. You know. Yeah. Then he said, all right, you bring the baby here. The whole court was there. And he asked the minister to bring a sword and split the baby into two halves. One half will go to this mother, the other half will go to this mother, you see. He gave the judgment, you see. Split the baby into two like that, you see. The moment one of the ladies heard that judgment, he said, I am sorry, you please give this boy to the other girl. I can't see this baby being cut into two pieces, you see. cut into two pieces. And then the other lady says, yes, yes, let us cut it. Let she take one half and I will take another half. The king immediately understood the whole thing and he said that the mother who says no to cutting, she must be his real mother. And therefore he gives that baby to that real mother.
After his birth, he has taken away. Yeah, Devaki's hasn't. Why said?
Her concern is whether it is my son or not, it is with me or with somebody else, it doesn't matter. The boy should not die because of that, you see. That was the sacrifice only the real mother can make. So Solomon understood it. So that is called the judgment of Solomon. That is called the judgment of Solomon. So Narad is exercising here that judgment of Solomon. Truth covered with truth. Yes. Yeah. So he is exercising that truth covered with truth, you see. And then, pardon me? He was a king, Israel, long ago, before the Bible. Before the Bible. King. Actually, there are many stories associated with Solomon. You must be knowing them, you see.